Hello everyone, I hope you're doing fantastic. This video will focus on the top questions to ask yourself and or a real estate professional if you're thinking about purchasing an investment property. One of the first things I always tell people is, although it's the 80-20 rule when it comes to investment properties, probably anywhere in the country, I will focus in on Arizona real estate, but again, that doesn't mean I couldn't answer most in general questions on that subject. So, that said, if you are looking for ways to diversify your investments, build additional streams of income, or put your home equity to work for the long term, you may be considering a real estate investment property. Well, many may think that this is a simple process of identifying a likely property and posting an ad for it for potential renters. There's actually much more to this process. So here are some of the top questions you should ask, again, yourself as you begin developing your real estate investment portfolio. Always keep in mind the Mr. Rogers Homes team would be more than happy to help you. We're always here, so one of the favors I could ask is please click that subscribe button and reach out to me if and when you need to. All of my contact information is in the description below. Here's a quick FYI prior to diving into this video. I've been asked to speak about this subject, investment properties, but there were so many different angles and topics and awesome questions that I could answer or that were sent to me to answer that I really am trying to, not have this video be 7 hours long and beacon in on the top ones. So as always, if you have any questions, again, reach out to me. You can leave a comment or all of my contact information is in the description of all of our videos. Okay. Number one, what type of investment real estate property model will you pursue? There are a variety of ways to invest in real estate. One may choose to pursue an undervalued property, fix it up, and then offer it for resale. This short-term investment is called a fix and flip. Alternatively, if you identify a property that you may want to keep long-term, especially if it's in a good rental market like near a college or close to a military base, perhaps close to a major corporation, you may want to pursue what's known as a buy and hold strategy. If you're focused on a resort area or a popular vacation spot, you may be interested in a short-term rental or an Airbnb investment. Next, we would ask, what type of updates are needed for a flip? Generally, you'll want to add value to a flip while keeping a close eye on profitability. You'll need to complete any needed repairs and updates quickly in order to minimize the carrying costs of the property, including mortgage payments, insurance, and taxes. Often, flippers will favor low-cost, high-impact cosmetic improvements to enhance the marketability of the property and increase its appeal to potential buyers. Remember, you are not choosing fixtures and finishes based on your own personal preferences. Let cost, availability, and the market impact guide your choices. Hello everyone, I'm Sean Rogers, Realtor and lead of the Mr. Rogers Homes team here in the Valley of the Sun. If you're thinking about buying, selling, renting, or investing, please reach out to us. We would be happy, actually honored to get you moving. As always, thank you for watching our videos and supporting our channel. Remember to keep a lookout for other links to videos that we think you'll enjoy. Number 3, what types of updates are needed for a buy and hold investment property? Often, buy and hold investors put less time and effort into cosmetic upgrades in favor of getting the property market ready and occupied as quickly as possible. A buy and hold property may be ready to go on the rental market with only a deep cleaning and landscaping cleanup. If you are in a competitive rental market or in some of the home systems that are significantly out of date, you may want to take more time for the needed repairs or updates before bringing in tenants in order to save time and money down the road. As another note to this most excellent question, you don't want to for lack of a better word, sexy the house, but what you definitely want to do is make it as appealing as possible to a potential tenant. One of the things that can factor in down the road to your return on investment, or ROI, is the longevity of the tenants. Turnover sometimes can be costly, so sometimes keeping the property as neat and clean with all of the proverbial bells and whistles will keep a tenant happy and in your property longer, which lets your income streamline over time. This next question I'm asked repeatedly, and I'd have to assume that the main reason for that would be here in the Valley of the Sun, Arizona, the weather is fantastic for a longer period of time, which makes short-term rentals appealing because people can use the outside amenities or enjoy the outside for a longer period of time throughout the year. That said, the question was, what should I consider when investing in a short-term rental property? Short-term rental owners usually focus more on the location of the property, along with the number of beds it will hold and the number of value-added amenities they can include within the property. Part of the expense in preparing a short-term rental for the market is furnishing it comfortably, adding things like dishes, linens, DVDs, TV screens, furniture that is appealing to more people. In other words, you can accommodate more. Just overall helpful accessories. Upgrading fixtures and finishes are often included in order to make the property show better on reservation portals or third-party sites, which will ensure more favorable guest reviews. And as we all know, the more positive reviews a place has, a firm has, an agent has, pretty much anything has, the more likely they are to stay in business and flourish in their business because they're providing something that the general population wants and enjoys. And those reviews, not to beat the dead horse, are very important, or are a very important guideline for people that are unaware of what they're, for lack of a better term, getting themselves into. When somebody goes on vacation, they definitely want to enjoy themselves, and that kind of circles back to what would you consider putting in your short-term rental. And I could always say the more you make them comfortable and just enjoyable, the more people will want to stay at your short-term rental, which is great for business. Question number 5. How will you manage and maintain the property? Oh Lord, what another phenomenal question. My answer: for long-term and short-term rentals, one will need to consider whether they want to live the landlord lifestyle or turn the responsibility over to property management. If you are handy and looking for something to do with your time, one may feel comfortable coming out for late night repairs or onboarding new renters. Otherwise, a property manager can provide needed expertise and around-the-clock assistance, resulting in greater tenant satisfaction and retention. For short-term rentals, you'll also need someone to clean and prep the property between guests, sometimes in a matter of just a few hours. Then again, sometimes it takes quite longer to clean up the fun that some guests have left behind. Talk to your property manager or to your cleaning and linen service to ensure that they have the experience working with short-term rentals in the market you own your property. On to question number 6, which is, how will you find renters for your property? One may be considering putting the property up on Craigslist or putting the word out to your Facebook connections. When you have availability for the property, it's often a better idea to work with a leasing agent or through your property manager to find well-qualified tenants who will have been thoroughly screened and vetted before moving into your property. Please remember, it is far more cheaper to properly market a property and check out the tenants ahead of time than it is to evict someone for non-payment or repair damage from a bad renter. Again, and I'll say it throughout this video, if you have any questions, please reach out to us. My contact information is below. You can leave a comment. We'll get back to you ASAP. Call me, text me, email me, whatever fancy you like for communication. Utilize it before you make a bad move in reference to rental properties. Heck, a bad move in reference to any Valley of the Sun real estate. That is what we're here for. There's no obligations. There's no strings attached. Let's just talk the proverbial real estate talk. Number 7. And number 7 is a very important question in the realm of rental properties. It is, what limitations and requirements will you put on your renter or tenants? Let's take, for example, will you allow pets? If so, will there be restrictions on size or number? Will you require the tenant to maintain the lawn? Will you charge a copay for needed repairs? There are many things to consider before you rent out your property, and you'll need to ensure that they are adequately spelled out both in your initial marketing materials and in your rental agreement. One of the things I can suggest is that when we speak, being a real estate professional, let's talk about common policy and restrictions in the local market. That way we can dial in the best fit lease for your property, protecting you and or your tenants. Number 8. What will you provide as part of your rental property? Well, I have to almost take a little time out and say I am just so impressed with these questions, and I love just being able to answer them for the public and the potential clients and clients. In fact, some of our team members have sent in the questions as well. I'm just humbled to be able to answer these questions, but more, if that's the proper term, more humbled that you're trusting me and sending them into me to answer them. So my answer to that most excellent question, and I'll reiterate it, what will you provide as part of your rental property? Here's my answer. Will you pay some or all of the utilities? That's a question you want to ask, and we go over that when you put together the lease and advertisement for your property. Will we pay for the HOA, or I should say, will you pay for the HOA and or condo fee, or will you put that on a side fee or include it in the rental charge? Again, these are all questions that tie into this most excellent question. Will you pay for the pool maintenance if applicable, lawn care if applicable, and pest control? That's a big one out here in Arizona. Everybody's always concerned, and I'll kind of go off on a side note, kind of what I'm known for, but again, just trying to provide good information here. One of the concerns people are always asking about is, what about scorpions? I know there's scorpions. How do you get rid of the scorpions? Do you pay for bug control to kill the scorpions, etc., etc.? Now, disclosure, I'm not a bug control expert. Do we know a few of them? Absolutely. But one of the things I can tell you with pest control or scorpions per se is they feed on the bugs that are around your house. So by nature, you really aren't, again, I'm trying to kind of tiptoe around this one. You're really not so much perhaps generally trying to get rid of scorpions. You want to get rid of the things that the scorpions eat. Again, I'll call it crickets and spiders and et cetera, et cetera. You get rid of the scorpion's food, you get rid of the scorpions. But my point to that, tying it in, is that's definitely something that if it's included or available for the property, that's one, for lack of a pun, less monster concern, and if you ever saw a scorpion, you'd get the joke, that a potential tenant would have, and you being the landlord would have. It's kind of teamwork to make sure that you keep your tenant happy and that your tenant keeps you happy. In any event, you want to weigh the impact of paying for some of these costs that are associated with the property, upkeep against the liabilities you'll incur. If the tenant does not properly maintain the homes and grounds, you may find that it's more cost effective in both the short and long term to charge a slightly higher rent and do more of the quote unquote dirty work yourself? Again, there's so many different rules of thumb, but again, a most excellent question. And there really isn't a one size fits all, but there absolutely is a best game plan for everybody's individual property. This last question, yep, you heard me correct. It is the last question. I thought there was a lot more. There probably is a lot more. Maybe I'll do a part 2. And again, always keep the questions coming, as they're always great. And the more you learn, I guess the more you know. So without further ado, the last question in this video is number 9. What is your long-term real estate investment goal? Now, right off the jump, we know that everybody's going to have their own level of, or let me word it this way, everybody's going to have their own answer to that based on the level of investment goal in maybe just real estate as far as this video is concerned. But there's a lot of questions that kind of help best answer that. For example, do you want to consider adding to your property portfolio? Do you want to eventually consolidate your holdings into a duplex, maybe a triple or a triplex or a quad, meaning a 4-unit? Do you want to own properties exclusively in your local market or branch out into hotter real estate markets? And again, not so much a plug for other parts of the country, being that we're in the Valley of the Sun, again, Arizona, but it is just a phenomenal place to own rental property. So yes, there is the distance quote thing to consider, but on the flip side, when you have a good team surrounded you and have a good property generating good income, location, location, location. So you don't necessarily, laugh out loud, have to be here, but having a producing entity, a rental property here, definitely would be something to consider. The bottom line is you always want to consult with a trusted real estate professional for the advice and moreover, the expertise that we have to make better decisions for both now and down the road. Well, we've come to the end of another video. I hope it was informative and a wee bit entertaining. Until the next one, take care. Talk to you soon.